Everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have a very interesting update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So 31-year-old Annie Howell is a Pennsylvania resident. She was seen in photos and on video inside the Capitol on January 6th. Howell was also seen and heard on video inciting the crowd, according to prosecutors. She was leading chants of "Whose house? Our house," and "Fight for Trump." And like so many other of these staple geniuses, she shared her videos of her crimes on social media. So one of Howell's shared videos was taken inside of a Senate office. And you guys have probably seen these photos and videos of this office where people were in there breaking furniture. They were using the broken furniture pieces as weapons against the police. And you could also see that they had ripped a television off the wall. Well, Howell had also complained on Facebook and said, quote, "I was personally tear gassed 8 times. I was hit in the head with metal rods." And then she had the audacity to try to deflect blame for the violence and the chaos that she personally took part in that day. She wrote on Facebook in all caps, quote, "Antifa leader is the one who broke into the Capitol." Again, with this Antifa bullshit. No, sweetheart, that would be you. That would be you and your proud bigot and oath breaker buddies. And when Howell's friends begged her to leave the Capitol, she wrote, quote, "They just killed 2 fucking women. I watched them die. No fucking way." Really? Who did you watch die? Who did you watch die? Because I know of the 2 women who died that day, and she wasn't in either of those locations. These people are such liars. They're such clout chasers. It's disgusting. So prosecutors told the judge that Howell recorded multiple videos of officers being physically assaulted by Donald Trump supporters, by the way. So she was okay with that. She was totally okay with that part of it. In fact, prosecutors said that in one of the videos recorded by Howell, 3 officers were being dragged down the stairs by Trump's terrorists, and they were being brutally assaulted. While this assault is taking place, and she's recording it, Howell is heard yelling at the officers, "Fuck you." In the weeks that followed, the FBI says that Howell tried to actually conceal evidence of her involvement. She went and purchased a new cell phone. So she was arrested on March 9th. She was indicted on charges of obstructing an official proceeding, aiding and abetting in that specific crime, also entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and the parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building charge. Based on just the obstruction charge, Howell was facing up to 20 years in prison. So she struck a deal with the prosecutors in December. She pleaded guilty to 1 count of entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds. That reduced Howell's potential prison time down to 1 year and up to $100,000 in fines. However, prosecutors were only asking for 60 days behind bars. And then Howell's attorney, of course, was arguing, no, we should only get probation. Now, here's where her case becomes strange and intriguing. In a pre-sentencing letter to the court, Howell told the judge that the Trump team dangled the idea of a potential White House job in return for her support of Donald Trump. This is what she alleges. In her letter to the judge, Howell explained that due to her work as a volunteer for Trump's reelection campaign, she was invited to, quote, "an exclusive invitation-only dinner with Eric Trump." And she said that following that dinner, she became, quote, "more politically connected." She wrote, quote, "I was surrounded by congressmen, senators, even Trump advisors. I helped set up security for Trump and his family with the Secret Service. By this point in time, I had a large social media following and was enthusiastic about the 2020 election and Donald Trump, my candidate. I was promised future benefits, including a possible White House job for my hard work, my loyalty, and my dedication to Trump and his family. Immediately following the election, I was asked directly by a Trump advisor and supposed close friend to help collect affidavits from Pennsylvania residents in 8 Pennsylvania counties. Yeah. I don't know what that's all about, but it sounds very suspicious. And why is this woman setting up Secret Service protective duty for Trump? Seriously? Just some random woman? I also don't know what purpose Howell hoped her letter would serve, because it changes nothing, right? It changes nothing about her actions on January 6th. The only thing it proves is that this grown-ass woman is completely and utterly gullible. I mean, Trump and his minions fooled her not once, but twice. But so what? You know, how many times is she going to get burned by these liars before she learns a lesson? And while this was unethical, you know, I don't know that they actually broke any laws by dangling a job opportunity, unless, of course, they used it to get her to commit a crime. And that can be proven in a court of law with some sort of written documentation or, you know, something equally substantive. Then maybe you've got something. But without that, it's her word against theirs. And did they force her to break the law? You know, if they enticed her to, that's another story. If they forced her to, that's another story. Anyway, she spoke in court as well. She told the judge that she's, quote, embarrassed and ashamed. And she said, quote, I can't express more how different I am today. And then Howell's attorney is Heather Shaner. You guys might recognize that name. She's the attorney that honestly seems to be trying to help these January 6 defendants, to re-educate them, to help them realize the error of their ways. So she's the one who's been giving out videos and books to these people and trying to help them, you know, realize that there's a world out there that doesn't revolve around them. To that end, Howell told the judge that she's now watched movies such as Schindler's List, and she's read books about, quote, oppression and bigotry and racism. And she again tried to place the onus somehow on Trump and his allies. She told the judge, quote, I feel betrayed by the former president. I was promised things by people that were close to him, such as a job in the White House. Again, so what? So what? You're a 31-year-old woman with a child. Own your shit. So prosecutors argued that she wasn't just some innocent bystander in the Capitol attack, which I agree with. They told the judge that she, quote, spread propaganda on Facebook, and she blamed law enforcement and anti-Trump activists for the violence that day. So prosecutor Benjamin Kringer, I think it's pronounced, said in court, quote, it is difficult to understand how somebody can watch officers being hit with sticks, being kicked, being attacked with their own stolen riot shields, and cheer for those attacks to continue. Some rioters were force multipliers. So senior U.S. District Judge Thomas Hogan presided over Howell's case, and he seemed to agree with the prosecutors. Judge Hogan first took time to excoriate those trying to downplay January 6th. He said, quote, I'm concerned because what we have going on in this country is certain legislators in our Congress and Senate trying to downplay the riot, tending to whitewash it, attempting to provide a different narrative. There are people of substance trying to mislead the United States and its citizens as to what really happened at the riot. I think that's something we have to be very careful about. January 6th was an insurrection. He also expressed concern for how so many of our citizens are falling for propaganda and lies. And he said that it's terrifying how many have, quote, bought in so much to this belief that caused the riot. that they could continue to believe the next election, if the person they want is not elected, go back to rioting again and attacking our institutions. We need to be concerned about that in particular with those individuals who are trying to downplay the riot and what really happened. Then he turned to Howell and he told her, quote, "I do think you have to serve some time of incarceration for your activity. I cannot see just giving you probation." And it's important to note that after Howell's arrest, her ex started fighting for sole custody of their child. And the judge acknowledged that he didn't want Howell to lose custody. And he said, quote, "I've recommended that that not happen." And prosecutors acknowledge that Howell has had meetings with the January 6th Select Committee and that she provided information that has been, quote, "investigated, verified, and found to be valuable." So they didn't say what that was, but she has allegedly met with them and she's been forthcoming and cooperating. Still, Judge Hogan gave prosecutors what they were asking for. He sentenced her to 60 days in jail, 3 years of probation, and a $500 restitution fee. He also ordered that she serve 60 hours of community service. The judge also said that due to Howell being a single mom, that she could serve her 60 days intermittently in 10-day increments. He said that if circumstances were different, and I'm assuming he means if she wasn't a single mom, he would have given her more jail time. So, I ask, was it worth it? Was it worth it for, a narcissistic sociopath who doesn't give a rat's ass about you? Was it worth it to spend 2 months in jail and be on the verge of losing custody of your child? I was a single mom, so I have compassion, but it's difficult. It's really difficult because everyone tried to warn these people. Michael Cohen warned. He said anyone who aligns themselves with Trump and tries to protect him ends up losing everything. And so many have. This woman may have given up her 8-year-old son for a lifelong con man who has literally screwed over everyone in his life. But as the saying goes, it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. And that has to do with ego. Sadly, just ego. So I hope people learn a lesson from this. I hope they see it's not worth it. Not worth it to lose your children, to lose everything for this idiot, for this loser who moved on, is off playing golf and enjoying his life. Hasn't given you a second thought. Anyway, guys, if I hear any more, I'll let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.